I'm not working ever, in my opinion. I'm doing what I enjoy doing. And one of them happens to make me money. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello, welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How about you, Todd?
I am fantastic, man. We went for a what was it? 6 days camping trip. It was awesome. We went to Iowa, and like you just never think of going to Iowa to do anything other than like look at cornfields and maybe tip cows if you want to get crazy. But man, it was amazing. It was beautiful. I did not know Iowa was so beautiful. It was crazy. The bluffs and the cliffs and the waterfalls and just the scenery was awesome. There was caves and we like to adventure, so we're climbing up and down these cliffs and we're going into these deep caves and um, it was just really cool. Nothing I would have expected from Iowa. I just like I said, like tipping cows in cornfields are all that Iowa usually what a Minnesota person at least thinks of Iowa. I'm sure an Iowa person's like, well, of course it's beautiful. Like, yeah, that's why I live there. But no, not us. We think, oh, that's cornfields.
Yeah, my wife and I went hiking at a state park in Iowa a few years ago. I forget which park though, but it was really, really nice actually. Hilly, surprisingly.
Yeah, super hilly. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, like, look, where we were, we went to Pikes Peak State Park. We went to Backbone State Park, and then we hung out in Decorah. We camped at a city campground and just hiked around there. And the hills were unreal. The Pikes Peak, I mean, it's just like straight down. You're sitting way on top of these bluffs, and you're overlooking the Mississippi River, where the Mississippi and Wisconsin come together. And it's just amazing the size of these hills and where you're at and everything around you is just wow. And the old growth trees, it was just cool. It's not definitely not flat. We think of it as flat. It's definitely not. So it was cool.
Yeah, and I know you're still working on your business while you're down there as well. So
Yeah, doing still, and we're enjoying ourselves. We're spending time hiking and stuff like that. But I always put in several hours of work. For most of the days, I think I took pretty much most of Friday and Saturday off. But yeah, that's part of the flexibility that we've created in our lives is to be able to spend time with the family, to be able to do extra things. And some of Matt, like I tell people will ask me, how do you be successful? And I tell people like you've got to be fully committed. You've got to give up the extra things in your life, and and that's real. Like you've got to give up some of the extra things, but it doesn't mean you have to give up your family. It doesn't mean you have to give up some of your favorite hobbies, but it just means you need to give up some of the things that are misleading you, some of the things that maybe aren't adding a ton of value to your life, like watching TV or you know surfing a ton on social media. That type of stuff, is that truly adding the value to you? But I don't want you to give up. I recently had somebody say, well, you know it really was a big turnoff when you told me I needed to give up things in my life because I really enjoy spending time with my family and really enjoy some of the hobbies that I have. And I'm thinking, man, did I tell you to do that? Because I don't want to tell anybody they have to give up their family time, right? That this is what we're doing this for, is to design our life to be able to spend more time with our family, to be able to design this to spend more time with the hobbies, the activities that we truly enjoy, and create that financial freedom to be able to do that. Now, at times, you're going to have to uh, maybe even have some of your hobbies, flow into your work. Maybe even allow your family to be a part of your business. My kids do small things to be a part of the business. They understand the business. They'll come along with me to properties. I don't mean to tell anybody to give up what they love to try to achieve wealth and success, because that ultimately actually does the opposite, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in general, in life, whatever you focus on is what your sort of life becomes. So if you're focusing on the negativity of Twitter, then that becomes part of you. But if you're focusing on growing your syndication business or your real estate business, then you're going to have some positive impact from that.
Yeah, and I think that's where people get, like, they get it where they're just like, they get so focused on the Twitter, or so caught up in the news cycle, so caught up in whatever, they get, they're watching this TV series, whatever it might be, that they lose focus on being able to actually achieve those little. You get an extra half an hour, you'd be surprised at how much you can achieve in a half an hour, right? You've got an extra half an hour at the start of the day, you got an extra, hour and a half at the end of the day, whatever it might be. You'd be shocked at how much you can actually achieve. But it doesn't mean you should get home from work and immediately start working on your business and ignore your family until they go to bed. Maybe give them a kiss goodnight and then go back to work. That's not what it's all about. Like, that's not going to give anybody happiness.
As you know, I'm building my syndication business with your help, and I'm not good at everything yet, and so, but I am finding
Nor,
that,
by the way, you need to be good at everything.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm finding there's pieces of it that I do enjoy, that I am,
Yeah.
my skill set does really match with, and so I'm really focusing my energy on those things.
Yeah.
Um, and so when I'm working on my syndication business, it's not so much like work as it's like what I enjoy. Figuring out puzzles. Making sense out of things that weren't making sense before.
And that's the other thing too that's really important. It's important to spend time with, obviously, the people you love and create relationships and that type of stuff. And then we talk about hobbies, and I have hobbies outside of real estate. I'm not going to sit here and tell people that the only thing I do outside of my family is real estate, but I enjoy real estate. I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy it so much so that it is kind of a hobby. Like, it doesn't, I'm not exhausted thinking about it. I don't look forward to, like, the next vacation or the next, or like the kid at Christmas who's got the pole, little chain. Like, I'm enjoying what I'm doing so much at an everyday kind of level. I love it. Like, it is a part of my hobbies. It is a part of my life. And that's just what it is. And I love it. It's not work for me. Right. And at the same time, I still enjoy doing other activities. Right. I still enjoy hiking and camping and hunting and, all kinds of different stuff. But I'm not working ever, in my opinion. I'm doing what I enjoy doing. And one of them happens to make me money.
That way you don't have to try to escape mentally from it. So
Yeah.
many people work to the weekend, or are working towards their next vacation because that's what they're looking forward to. But if you're just enjoying what you're doing already, then life is good.
Yeah. When we talk about work-life balance, well, you don't need to have work-life balance if you enjoy your work and you're able to bring it in your life. Um, that you don't need. I don't. I shouldn't say you don't need it. Like, you can't become obsessed with it and make it the only thing, but um, you're not worried about it. Like, I guess I don't fret about my work life balance. I do what is important in my life, and I do spend time with other people that I want to spend time with, and I spend time with my work when I want to spend time with it, and I enjoy every minute of it. And that's just, it just flows together. And the great thing with being an entrepreneur, Matt, is like I can go for a week. Last week I can just go and we can go hiking. I can get up. I get up in the morning, go for a run, go for a bike ride, work on my business for a while, go for a hike with my kids, take a phone call, um, jump on the internet, do a little bit of work, sit by the campfire. Like I don't have to be going from 9 to 5 type of thing. Today at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go for a run. I just worked it into my schedule. I I can build stuff like that in. I can take my dog for a walk, at 9 o'clock in the morning, after already working for 2 or 3 hours. It's just like that's the nice thing about being an entrepreneur, being able to control your own schedule, is you can do those types of things and work it in.
Yep. And I have to be honest, not everything is puppies and roses for me. I do
No,
face,
it's not.
yeah, I face frustrations, I face setbacks, and I find it helpful to kind of step back and think of like, okay, how can I turn this setback into an opportunity,
Yeah.
or how can I, these things that are frustrating me, that are a pain in my butt, like how are they a part of the bigger picture to get my ultimate goals achieved? And when I can do that, then it becomes all that much easier.
Matt, do you like to play any sports, or do you have any hobbies that are competitive?
Yeah, I have a black belt in karate.
There you go. Have you ever done karate and had a failure in karate? Have you ever done karate and not done the kick right or
Yep,
whatever?
every time that happens. Yeah.
Right. And do you let that just frustrate you and get you down? And
I
and
mean,
you,
it's
you stop doing karate? Do you stop doing karate forever because of that?
no, no. I mean, I use that to motivate
Right.
myself. Like,
So some,
I know I can do better, and so I force myself to keep going at it until I can do better.
yeah, and so sometimes we have bad days, bad hours, bad minutes, bad weeks. But that's the same thing with karate. It's the same thing with, any sport you play, any activity you do, building a puzzle. Like sometimes you're sitting there building if you ever built a puzzle, you're sitting there building your puzzle and you can't figure out where is that next piece? Like I can't find that stupid piece, and you get pissed off and you're like frustrated with it. And finally you walk, sudden the pieces just magically appear, like they came out of nowhere, like your dog like spit them back up on the table or something. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden they come back together. And that's just like your business, right? You're going to have moments where you're just like, this isn't working. And sometimes you just got to step away and you got to come back to it. It's not all roses. It's not all perfect, but life isn't. Like, would it be fun if you had no challenges? If you did karate and everything was perfect, would you continue to do it all the time? It wouldn't. It's not challenging you. Like if if a quarterback never threw an interception, would he get satisfaction with being a quarterback? He never threw an interception. He never had an incompletion. I don't think so. And you might say, "Oh yeah, of course you would. You always be winning." I don't think so. Like I think you'd get tired of it.
Yeah, I think it'd get boring actually.
Yep. It absolutely would. And so, you've got to take your business in stride with that too, and understand that's just that's just part of it. Anyway, so this isn't at all what we were going to talk about, Matt, today, but we'll probably keep the episode on track. I think, yeah, it really it comes down to my thoughts on this. Is just like my wife recently quit her job. We've had more opportunity to be more flexible with everything. And then I had this person tell me like, um, with what I said to him, like bothered him and made him upset that he couldn't spend time with his family anymore. And he couldn't, do the hobbies he wanted to do. And I'm like, man, I hope other people don't take the message that I say sometimes and twist it into that, because that's not at all what I ever want to say to people. Now, I want you to bust your butt. Like, if you truly want to achieve success in real estate or in any business or in life or in sports or whatever, you're gonna have to work hard. Like you're gonna have to put in hours, right? It's not just gonna fall. I'm sorry, but puppies don't just fall from the sky, right? You've got to work hard at it. You've got to bust your butt at it. But it doesn't mean that you have to give up everything you love, right? It doesn't mean you have to abandon your family. That's just crazy. And if I've came off like that to anybody else, I apologize for that. Um, but at the same time, I want you to still understand, like there's gonna be some days where you probably do have to tell your family, like, look, guys, I have to put in some hours right now. Unfortunately, I can't spend time with you, but I'll make that up, tomorrow when I do have time. And then you actually have to follow through with it, by the way. It can't just be, I'll make that up and then you never do. But there's been plenty of times where my kids want me to spend time with them, or maybe it's a weekend. On Sunday, we got back on Sunday and I had a 2-hour meeting on Sunday morning. I wasn't able to spend time on Sunday with my kids in the morning, but they understand that because I just got done spending a whole week with them, right? And the rest of the day Sunday I spend with them. And so they get it. Like they're flexible with me because I reciprocate and I actually give them my time.
I think change is scary for most people. So when you're telling people that they need to do things differently in order to achieve the success that they want, you're challenging their worldview.
Yeah.
So you're trying to inspire them to be better. So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. You're trying to inspire them to be better. You're challenging their worldview, but they might be scared of what that means. Um,
Mhm.
and, look, it's not as comfortable to not sit down and watch TV and, veg out, right? But are you going to achieve what you want to achieve being doing that? Are you actually going to be able to? Like, probably not. No. I was asked by my mother-in-law, I think it was my mother-in-law. We're remodeling our house and they were doing some work on their house as well. And I was getting a lot done in the house. And she said, "How do you find the time for that?" And I'm just like, "I create the time. Like, I don't, that's just what I do. Like I create the time with it. I've got 2 kids. They don't have kids in the household. And I don't know exactly what they're doing because I didn't dig in, but my guess is they weren't creating the time. And by that, I mean they weren't making priorities what they needed to be. Right. And that happens all the time.
This conversation reminds me of a couple books that I've read this past year. The One Thing and The Compound Effect, which is, really brings to light that you get what you look for in life. You get what you work on. The more you focus on something, the more that you get, like what we talked about before.
Mhm. Yeah, both fantastic books, by the way. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy was really really good. Just talks about that little thing, like that snowball effect, right? I mean, you're just like doing something. You start it today, and you just do a little bit. You chip away a little bit at it. Like I said, like a half an hour. Half an hour goes a long ways. You'd be surprised how much you can actually get done in a half an hour. Another conversation with somebody who's joined my coaching program, and he's talking about, he's got a full-time job, he's got a family, like he's got hobbies, and he asked me, he's like, can I actually do what I want to do in this business with spending 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours here and there, but 2 to 3 hours like a day on it? And I said, yeah, absolutely. If those are actual time, if that's actual time fully focused on that business, absolutely. Like, I don't even think you need that much time, but you've got to fully focus on the business. You've got to put your full effort into it. And it's not going to be as easy as somebody who's got a full 10 hours a day to do it, but you can still do it. You can still achieve it. And you just got to make sure you create that time for it. And it can happen. You've got to prioritize, but that compound effect is so valuable, that 30 minutes, that 1 hour, and you just continue to do it daily over and over and over. And then you create that snowball starts to go, you create that financial freedom that starts. And once you create that, once you get to where you're at that point where now you can go, okay, I'm going to quit my job. That's when it really starts to just roll downhill and doesn't stop. Right. And it takes a while, right? Some people, it might take a long time, right? Some people, the snow is not that sticky. Other people, it can happen pretty quickly, but you've got to stick to it too.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Despite the hard times that everyone is going to face, stick to it. Keep focusing on achieving the results that you want, and you'll get there.
Well, Matt, you mentioned too, like some things you're not that good at, some things you're better at, you're not there yet. And that's the one thing, where he talks about, like, look, Matt, you might not be good at everything, but you're good at a few things. And if you focus on the few things that you're very good at and kind of figure out how to fill those gaps, and then you're going to get to where you want to go.
Is there anything else that we missed that you want to talk about?
No, I didn't even want to talk about this, by the way. So no, there's nothing more I've got coming out of my brain. No, that's it. I think hopefully this was, motivating, and more than motivating, like, look, we can all get motivated, but motivation only goes so far. So make sure instead of getting motivated, you get your mindset shifted, right? We can get motivated. That's cool. But motivation lasts for a day or two, or maybe an hour, a lot of times. So make sure you're shifting your mindset. Make sure you're changing your paradigm and reality and understanding what you need to be able to do to move yourself to the next level. So.
Great. Well, thanks, Tom.
Awesome, Matt. Well, hey, you have a fantastic rest of the day, and make every day a Saturday.
Thanks, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.